Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Once again, thank you for giving me a chance to spend 3.5 hours with you this afternoon so we can have more time to explore this very important topic, a complete estate planning. A lot of people that I talk to, some of them know a bit of it, some of them know a big chunk of it, mind you, but not many people really understand the whole complete estate planning is all about. So that's why I put it together. So would like to share with you with whatever that I understand with all these years that I'm in this particular area of consultation. Now, I will show you. So obviously, everything that we talk about today, I'll give you an overview in a bit. But some unique questions, some different family have different dynamic, different special situation. So all these, then I always ask my client. Then if you do have a lawyer, you do have an estate lawyer, estate law lawyer, your tax, accountant, finance people helping you. If you do already have a team working for you, then whatever that you learn today, I want you to jot it down and I want you to take it back to them and to make sure that they put all these considerations when they're helping you to do your will, your POA, and your taxation. Advanced planning, if you don't have anything done yet, then you can come to me anytime. Then we can have and explore this area because I'm a licensed for that. And also, if you say, I don't have all these, Connie, and I would like to sit down with you and one on one and understand it more, then feel free to email me or to call my office. Later on, you will have all these informations at the back, and you feel free to make use of it. Main thing is, I really like my members, my friends. They understand if you know me, then you have to understand what is the complete estate planning is all about. I don't want you to miss anything. All right. So we will spend time carefully and have it work out. Now, probably a lot of you already know who am I, but I just want to use 3 minutes to go through that because maybe we have some new friends on the platform today. I myself is came from a immigrant family. My dad and mom came with my dad's family mainly in the late 70s and some of them in the early 60s. So they meet all together in Toronto. So since then I'm staying in Toronto. Right, we don't have a lot of money to go, study outside the province back then. So I choose a U of T to have my study here. So actually, my first training is computer science, and then later on I go back and then I do a sociology. So IT management is what I work for many years, but in the past 20 years or so, I did pick up the spiritual care work in the hospital, and so I visit patients and help them uh, palliative care, and also I particularly using all my time to work with a lot of cancer patients. Um, Accompany them to the doctor's appointments, treatment, and also later on, work with their families. And some of them they're good, they can make it, and which is great, so they can go home and But obviously, the reality is some cannot make it, so they need to think about like how to take care of the will, POA, and then obviously the advanced planning, which is the cemetery and the funeral services. All these, so I learned it for 20 something years. So later on, if you hear some examples in all these cases that I put it in my presentation today. Um, no names, okay, but they are all live experience. Okay, I'm not making up any stories. I don't need to because I really saw a lot and help a lot. So those are the real cases. So I give you the cases to consider, so you know those things very likely will happen. So you have to take it in considerations. And then obviously then in the last 2 3 years, then I try to put all these things that I learn, all these things that I think that is very essential and important, and then I found a organization called EverGreen. And this EverGreen, except for like doing the retirement planning, and the most important thing is I would like to go different places, and as a matter of fact it's happening, and try to uh, let people understand smart, independent aging living, or you take out aging, smart, independent living is a movement. I want to tell people like you still can do that. You don't really need to have a tons of money to hire a lot of people working for you, but we're doing it smartly. And then from the retirement on, and your aging living, and then all the way to you have to take care of your estate, you have to take care of your cemetery and funeral pre-planning, you have to take care of even after my client go, I build up a very good report with the family along the way all these years, so I can even help them to finish the estate administrations. So to me, this is my service to my clients, and I think that will be good because we understand one another for all these years. I understand the family dynamic when we go in to do all these very so-called important and sensitive matters for the family. Then I can take all these as a considerations, and then when we do the work and perform the services for them, I believe that it will be very much so caring, custom make, and really, really can benefit my clients and their families. Okay, so this is a little bit of me. All right. Now, so today we will have three sections. So section one, we will talk about like what is the proper will writing. A lot of people saying I don't have a will, or some people say I don't really care whether I have a will, but I just have something to write down. It's also for the sake of they are taking care of it. This is not a proper um, way. If it's not a proper written will, later on you cause more damage than not having a will. So that's why today I will spend a good chunk of time till around 2 o'clock, and then we have to really talk about that particular topic. And then after that, then we will have a break. All right. The break time, but before the break time, I probably will put around 5 minutes or so if you do have questions. So when you listen to the webinar, type in the questions, okay? Doesn't matter you repeat the question or not, or sometimes you say, well, I do not know whether you will talk about it, and it looks like silly if I ask the question first. No, it's not. No, it's not. Um, Maybe later on I can address it in a different way, or if I know that I already addressed it very good, and I probably will just skip that, and you are not wasting anybody's time. All right, now section 2 will be starting 2:15 or so, and that is the understanding of the advanced planning in Ontario particular. Okay, I was asked to do a national talk for a very big organization, then that they need to take care of like BC, Alberta, da da da. But today we don't need to. We concentrate on Ontario because I believe that 99.9% that of you are living in Ontario, and so you need to know what Ontario law dictates and what's supposed to be done, so that is good for you and your family to know. And again, 5 minutes before my break, I would take care of some simple questions, and then we'll come down to the second break time. And then the third sections, and this is a POA living will. We'll talk about the differences why I have to have all these two things together, or even um, uh, uh, um, uh, and others things that helping us. Uh, why I have to put them together? Are they redundant, or when to use it smartly? So we will take care of that, and then after that, then we will have the wrap up Q&A. So whatever the question that I cannot address because of the time wise, uh, in my session 1 and session 2, then we will all talk about it in section 3. And then I have two very good assistants that today actually working at the back for us. One is called Luis, and the other one is Angel. And they will gather your chats, your questions, and they will help me to later on to raise the questions on your behalf, or anything that you need to ask, you don't know, or whatever. Feel free to use your question box. And these two young ladies, they're very good. They can look at it when you're typing it, and anything that they can type back to you to answer you, they will. If not, then they will probably put it back to our Q&A's time. Okay? All right. So now let's enjoy. Sit back, get a cup of coffee. If you're after your lunch, see, I did not have lunch yet, but if you do, sit back and take a pad of paper and pencil if you want to jot down something, and then hopefully whatever we talk about this afternoon can benefit you and your whole family and your loved ones. Okay, all right. Now, so people will say, "What is a will?" Well, honey, it's stupid. Everybody know what will is that. A will actually is a legal document. So remember, legal. Okay, so it's not a piece of paper you just wrote down something and then tell two people to come and witness that I'm writing that and put it in the drawer. Okay, we're supposed to treat it legally. There's a lot of ways to treat it legally, but at least it's a legal. Okay, you understand? Legal documents, and they have to have directions. Directions. Okay, don't just say everything go to such and such. Later on, you will know different things have different way to handle, and you have to put directions. Parents, listen to me. Doesn't matter how old is your kids, you are the parents, and you have to give them directions. Because later on, then when they cannot talk, or two brothers, three brothers, they cannot come to their term, then all your estate will be stuck. I have example that people told me, um, they stuck with the estate for almost like 10 years, cannot move on because they cannot find a common ground. So you have to give directions. So in the will, you will see directions. Regarding what? Regarding the distribution of your estate among the persons you want to benefit. And then you have to name a representative, or you call it executor or executor, or you can call it like trustee in Ontario. Doesn't matter, but it's a representative, okay? Chosen by you. You say who this person is. And this person will be responsible for carrying out the terms of your will, carrying out exactly what you want to do, including your directions, okay? So this is a person that you will put in your will legally, all right? Now, who can make a will legally? Again, right? 18 years of age or older. Okay, 18 years of age or older. So basically, I believe that everybody sitting here today, not here, but sitting at your home today, is 18 years old or older. But if we have somebody under 18, then they can, if they're married, all right, because some culture they marry very young, or for whatever reason people marry young, or they are contemplating marriage. Okay, but the will won't be valid until the marriage takes place. All right, so that means like I can be 17 years old and I'm thinking about getting married 18 or 17 and a half, but right now I do have something that I want to talk about, and you put it on the will, but it won't be legal until I turn either 18 years old or I got married before time. Okay, so that is how you know. Second of all, um, is That person, okay, very old, too old to the point that when you go to the lawyer, when I'm talking about lawyer, this is an estate law lawyer. They really understand how to write a proper estate um, uh, will, and they do have a lot of time. They do have a family law lawyer working side by side as a partner or as associates. They usually have these two people together because eventually when a will cannot be carried out, when a will have challenge, when people provoke your will or whatever, then what is the guideline? The guideline is the family law. So later on, if a person have two wives, and then uh, but the will did not address two wives benefit or whatever, then one of them can come and provoke it. Now that will fall into family law. So that's why you understand. Okay, now for the person can really write a will in front of the lawyer. If the lawyer have any doubt that this person maybe not have testamentary capacity, then he or she will ask for this capacity test done. And if the test is passed, then the lawyer will continue helping this person to get the will ready. So how they do that usually is, does this person really knows the assets details? Does he know that how many house he has? Does she knows that how many bank accounts or what they are and how roughly how much they are the bank account has? This person need to know, and he or she need to know and name the beneficiaries. They understand what's the relationship with these beneficiaries and what is their names, able to make decisions about the disposition of the assets. They can be very clearly telling you that this house I give it to such and such, and that this bank account money I want to give such and such, or all these get together. I want this house to be sold, and the money will be gathered together, paying all my debts and all my Visa card or whatever. Then the residues, and I would like to distribute like 50% to my eldest son and 20% to my youngest daughter, whatever. This person is very clear mind when he go to the lawyer. The lawyer asks, and if the lawyer have some kind of doubt that this person really doesn't know what he or she wants, then the lawyer would like to ask for the capacity test done. Okay, so that you will understand. Cases is like I have a case. Father already got a will many years ago. Now he's very old. He's 91 at that time, I believe. And some of the kids want dad to redo the will because obviously it's some kind of family dynamic change or whatever. And they are very the children afraid that the original will be provoked or have a chance that for something happen. So they want dad to redo the will. So they talk to dad, they call the lawyer and tell the lawyer this is what they want to do. First of all, lawyer said, I'm not talking to you because your father still can talk, right? Your father understand, right? Your father doesn't need a POA, right? Okay, I'll talk to your father. And so by the time that we do that, and then because the father, they have a doubt that maybe the children pushing the father to make another will, then they ask the father to have the testamentary capacity test done. This is something can happen too. So I want you to also understand. Okay. Now, why we need a will? Well, first of all, we talk about a will has to be well prepared and up to date. If the will is not up to date, then whatever happened, and then the will has to be opened, and people read your will, and then probably they cannot help you to carry out your wishes. All right. So But a well-prepared and up-to-date will allow you, first of all, you choose your executor or your trustee. Carefully plan with your accountant how to do that. With your accountant, with your financial advisor, so they can help you to minimize the probate tax at the end. And if you do have minor children under age of 18, but a lot of people say, "Oh, my kids is, like they marry, they have kids." But I do have some family that maybe your children need to go somewhere else to work, but they decided not to take the kids with them for whatever reason. Maybe the place of work they consider is not safe to take the children, or they want the children stay in Canada to continue with their education. So they will choose like you become the guardians to take care of my children while I'm working in Africa, mom. Okay. So we do have a lot of clients that even though you're older, but you still need to take care of children. Now, who and how to provide care if the financial burden is on you instead of your kids sending the money in? You have to make sure that your will take care of that finance, continue to supply the needs of these children. um, and and how about the care? Who is taking care of them if they're younger children? All right, who is going to cook for them? Who is going to bathe them? Who is going to take them to the school? All these things. Then in your will, you have to address it. Okay. Otherwise, then who is the next of kin of these children decided not to come back to Canada, then they have to leave Canada and be with that uh, so-called new guardians, okay, then they will lose the chance to stay here. All right. So that you have to understand it. Okay. They'll stay, and then some of them even we nowadays we have a lot of pets that we love like a family members, right? When we go, we don't want to leave them like alone. So you probably will name a person in your will just taking care of your pet, right? Maybe they are also a pet owner. They know how to take care of dogs. They know how to take care of cats, and also they're your good friends. And the dog actually see them all the time coming in. They have no trouble going to their house, that type of thing. So all these, you think about that, and then you put it in this well prepared, up to date will. So, but what happened when a person died before they have a chance to make a will, or they decided not to have a will? Okay, so if they do that, then the possessions or assets, whatever this person has, will be distributed according to the provincial law. All right, whatever province that they live in. So today we're talking about Ontario, so we'll talk about Ontario law. Okay, now in some situation it's like um, you did not have a will, but someone in your family may like to step up, and then they apply being your estate executor. They can do that. There is a certificate of appointment of estate executor without a will. They can apply that with the court, and then the court has to decide whether this person, yes, they want to give it to him or her to be the executor for this deceased. Okay, it's a process. Okay, right now, roughly, you were thinking about 9 months uh, to a year, maybe, because with the will can be 6 months and a bit because of the paperwork. But if it's without the will, they probably have more things to check out. They need to make sure that the bond insurance is it needed. Um, all sorts of things. So it will slow down first of all, and it's make the estate distribution a little harder. Okay, now, but if nobody step up, okay, and if you're married, legally married, cannot be common law. Okay, common law right now still cannot take care of this part. Okay, if it's a common law husband and wife, one of them died without a will, nobody step up, no children, whatever, then basically nobody can touch the estate. Okay, but if it's legally married, okay, the spouse can obtain the first $200,000 if you have more than $20,000, obviously. But if you had less, then everything go to you. All right. If with children, okay, adult children, we're saying 2/3 of the remaining, like so, the spouse take the first 200,000, and then the rest of it, 2/3 equally distributed among the adult children. Um, 1/3 still go back to the spouse. In a situation like this, if those children, one of them never come back and see dad and mom, basically dad and mom doesn't want to do anything with them for whatever reason. But under the Ontario law, mom cannot even say anything when dad passed without a will. Okay. Government say this son actually entitled to have this portion, then the mom cannot say anything. All right. So that's why we say make a will, do a will, get it right. So whatever you want can be carried. Okay. All right. So how about if you have minor children? Same thing. What will happen to them? Government have to come in and give you a public guidance. And then whatever belong to these children, these public guardians have a say. If there is a step up, we call it step up executor, means like you have no will. So this person come up and say, hey, you know what? I'm the nephew. Okay, my dad, my uncle and auntie, they don't have say uncle pass and then get everything to auntie, but now aunt's gone. Aunt does not have any will written, and they don't have children maybe, but aunt actually maybe she have family somewhere, right? She can have her own niece and her nephew, but this nephew from the husband side step up and say, I want to be the executor for my aunt, right? But if he's not living in the same province, okay, government first of all, government have a way to dictate to determine whether I want to have a bond insurance. Means like they want to protect the estate. How could they know this person? This person just come up from nowhere, and then but obviously he has to approve. He has to prove that he's really the nephew of this lady. Um, but so because of this reason, the court basically may ask for the bond insurance. Okay, though for the beneficiaries, okay, any person can be distributed. What this person will do. So it's a lot of things to talk about. And at the end, if the court say no, I'm not granting you this executor, so then is nobody can claim it. Or the other way is nobody wants to be the executor, then what will happen? Then that's it. Then government will, like if you have nobody to give to, if the second one of the spouse pass, no children, nobody step up, the government know nothing about nothing, then those money will go to the government, of course, right? So that is what will happen when a person dies without a will. Now then, say, okay, no, Connie, we'll write a will. We'll do the will now. We know that is so complicated when we don't have it. Okay, so now we do. Okay, when you do, then the first things that you need to think about is your executor. You want to name one executor or you want to name multiple? You want them to be co-executor, or you want to name one primary, and then if that person cannot do for whatever reason, then we'll jump down to the secondary executor. What way do you want? 2 kids, 2 boys. They never agree one thing in their life. Will you put them as a co-executor. One is living in Africa, one is living in Canada. Which one you should name as the executor? Making the estate distribution more smoothly, I would suggest you to consider the one living in Ontario, unless it's a very special reason you don't want to. Okay. A lot of people still like to name the kids to be executor, but usually, if you ask me for my professional advice, better not. No bias or minimize the bias. Um, if you can have executor named different from the beneficiaries. So the ideal cases is your friend asks you to be the executor, but he won't give you anything from the estate. That is the ideal situation. Provided you know the family well, provided that you know what to do, provided you're a very organized person and you are not that biased and you have a little bit a kind of finance understanding and the business understanding, especially in the later day you have to take care of like a real estate property for them or whatever, right? But the rule is if you can, that would be better. Okay, but if you say no, I still like to name my children, then you have to make sure that can they work together. If they can, then yes, you can put them to co-executor, but I would suggest not to if no need to. So one after the other, then you will make sure that your estate will carried more smoothly, because less signatures or less meetings has to be conducted before they can make the decisions or on your behalf make some kind of decisions when they're taking care of your estate. All right. So, and then first of all, obviously, you cannot just name them secretly and put it on your will and not tell on them. That is very bad. If you have names in your head, one or two, you should consult them. Say, I would like to put you on my will as the executor. Are you willing to accept that? Now, if the person never know what to do, they probably say, wow, this is a great honor. All right. And that would be good. Yes, I helped you. I'm your good friend. Oh, I'm your good friend for, 50 years and I'm going to help you. Don't worry about it. Um, but if that person really understand what exactly the executor's duty should be, today we cannot take care of that. But later on, when I do another sections, then I probably do ETA, the administration tax, and the duties of the executor. So I will urge you also to come and listen to it, so you know who you're supposed to name. That will be better. All right. So if they say, okay, fine, I'll do it, obviously, but on your will, because not everybody is accountant. It's not everybody is a lawyer. Not everybody is a paralegal. Not everybody is just like us, right? Administrator. So it's a little overwhelming for a lot of them. So I usually would suggest my clients in your will, you should pay them a little bit for the compensation of the time and also effort. And on top of it, you allow them to seek legal professional help if it's needed. And then your estate will pay for the bills. So in that case, it's not that overwhelming. Okay, otherwise, because they have legal liability to bear. Once they are the executor, then everything that he or she do with the government, tax or whatever, all these little things that he or she has the liability. If something worse, something going on, people can sue them. They can end up, some of the situation, they can end up in jail, or have to pay out a lot of money. Then it's no good, right? So you allow them to seek professional help, put it in the will, and say the estate will take care of it. All right. And if you do that, then all the beneficiaries need to agree. This is what we're going to do, and the beneficiary would agree, okay, we'll hire such and such to do all this stuff. Okay, but that is the end. Like when they really open the will, they need to do that. That's the procedure. But at least you give them a way that they can do it properly, and they are not having any fear that they will do something wrong and end up legally uh, um, sue or whatever. Okay, now, so compensation for the time and effort. If I were you, I will. I have some cases like that. The person not married, um, with two brothers, but they are not here in Canada. Uh, but she has a cousin, a very good cousin, helping her all the time when she needs it, when she's taking care of parents here in Canada. So at the end, she wants to name this cousin as an executor. So we suggest her to give a little bit the compensation of the time and effort. Okay, even though daughters, right? We suggest to the parents, if you write your will, if you ask one of your kids to be the executor, then you also give them. The reason is because sometimes they need to take time off to take care of something for you, um, and um, and maybe the workplace is not allowed, or there is no pay, they have to take whatever, right? Or they need to travel to certain places and to take care of your estate. So all this compensation of the time and the effort is a gesture to say thank you, and that is good. Now, if your executor, if not living within the same province as you are, um, if you have no choice, you have to name that person. If you have a choice, then we will suggest you not to. But if you don't, right, you have one daughter, and and one daughter is no good. If you have somebody, uh, 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 kids all over the place, they are your beneficiaries, but none of them with you in Ontario or even in GTA. But you do have your youngest daughter in the country, at least in BC. So maybe you like to, name her as your executor. Good. Then, but when she comes in as an executor, the court maybe will ask for bond insurance, because the residue is not all go to her. She has brothers and sisters all over the place, and they will make sure that everything will be still secured. And then by the time, then she won't take it out or whatever. So again, if not in the same province, things trace. Okay. All right. So now you already kind of know who you pick to be your executor. Two executors, one after the other, whatever. You already kind of know, and you already consult them. Good. And then they say, yes, we're helping you. All right. Then now you have to list out your assets. Very carefully list it out. Okay. And then all your real estate, your possessions, your cash, where's your cash, investment, insurance, RSP, or some of you already have the RIF, and so name them. Whatever that you need to name them. Okay. But you list it all out. Okay, and then you also carefully list out all your liabilities. Are you still paying a mortgage? Or maybe not your principal resident, but maybe you're still paying your mortgage on your rental homes, rental income home, or you have the mortgage on your cottage, all this stuff. Then you list it out. Do you still taking some kind of loan? Okay. Do you have a line of credit? Nowadays, a lot of people ask you, the bank always asks you, take a line of credit, right? Just sit it right there. And if you use it, you use it. If you don't, just sit it right there. So you take it all out to see whether you have all these. This is your liability. And then you also understand your obligations. A lot of people say, well, I'm not giving this much to this independence. But you understand, if they dependent on you, like say your minor age children or your disabled children, those are people that they are depending on you. Once you go, the law wants you to take care of them. Okay? So if you don't, or you don't take care of enough, then that individuals can hire a lawyer, or that individual can come back to your executor and say, no, I cannot live on this little amount. That's not fair. Blah, blah, blah. So they will have some kind of, argument. So you have to understand it when you say smart will writing. Remember, we're not just write a piece of paper. We are really want to make sure when the paper open one day, all your wishes can be carried, and minimize the inconvenience that somebody will come in and challenge your executor, not you, your executor. Okay, so you have to understand all your obligations, and you have to name them and put them in your will. All right, and then donations. We'll jump to donation first. Donations. And sometimes, like say, I want to donate certain amount to a church from my estate. All right, or a lot of times, like people say, I want to donate my piano. I want to donate whatever, right? To that organizations. All right. So you talk about that with that organization. Your executor also need to know, but in your will, if it's not possible, then what will happen? You don't just leave it there. Oh, donate my piano. Maybe your piano is not working anymore by the time that you're gone. Or maybe your church have too many people donating piano. Like my church at one point, they said, okay, that's it. Thank you very much. We have so many piano in every single corner now. So we don't need any more. Okay. So you have to understand that if you cannot do that, I mean, your executor, then what happened to the piano? Then you have to write down. Then the executor can do whatever he or she thinks is the best. Otherwise, the piano just stuck right there. Okay. Legacy giving. A lot of big foundations nowadays, hospitals and cancers associations, hearts and stroke foundations, and any big organization nowadays, they have foundation, because it's so hard to run the facilities in a compatible ways without money. So a lot of money will come in. If you like one of them, like maybe some people say, I want to support cancer. Very good, go. And then you talk to the cancer association, and you tell them that your initiation, they love it very much, and then they will have all these brochures and all these forms that for you, and then you take it, you put it with your will. And then in the will, you just say, when I pass, I want you to donate, like say $10,000 or percentage of my estate to this. If you cannot do that, don't say that. uh, Otherwise, they don't. But anyhow, it's still up to the executor, because by the end of the day, the hospital won't know that you pass. The foundation won't know that you pass, unless you are the foundation board of members. That's different. But usually they don't. It's up to your executor to carry your wish. Okay, so again, now gifts, to give and to give back. Some people say, I don't want to buy any more paintings anymore. I have enough. And as a matter of fact, they're quite expensive. I know a bunch of friends, myself including, but I just bought small, tiny little portions. But some of my good friends, they love a group of sevens painting. So when I was younger, I followed them to those galleries, and I study a little bit, and I do like it very much. Now, so some of you probably have all these paintings, expensive. Um, But when we pass, if you say everything in the house and the content of the house, right, um, will distribute it, then some of the very expensive painting, then they probably need to go through appraisal, and then they need to go through a lot of things before you can give it to people, or because they will be part of your estate, and it will increase your probate. If this is really a gift, and there's no money involved, you're not selling it to your kids, you're really giving to them, then a lot of people, they will use a techniques and say, I give it to my son, like say William really like my uh, um, one of my painting from Robert Bateman. Robert Bateman is also my favorite too. And but now I give it to William. But as a matter of fact, I don't have any painting now. So mom and dad want to borrow it back, still put it in the living room. But when we pass, then William can come and get this painting home. So that is the give back. When it's give back, then by the time that we pass, then it's not part of our estate. We just need to return back to the owner, and in this case, is your son William. All right. So at the back of the painting, if you want to do it more, legally, you don't write on the back of the painting because you will ruin the painting, the value of it. You can put a little post-it, all right, and then you can write it down. Okay. Borrowed from William will return to him back when I pass. Put it like that. Still put it back on the wall. Nobody need to know. William will know. Your executor will know. Okay, and by the time that we really need to leave this earth, then they would take care of that, and then will minimize your probate tax in this way. All right. Okay, so come down to beneficiary. Who are they? Your kids, your grandkids. Do you want to give it to your grandkids when they're younger than 18, because the money probably will go to the guardians? All these things you need to think about. Where are they? Do you know where are they? Oh, I have a distant cousin. I don't know. Last time we talked, he's in Australia, Sydney, but we did not really talk for a long time. That is very hard for you to put these cousins as a beneficiary in your will, because how about they cannot contact them? Because you already lose contact. Your children probably cannot find this uncle or this second cousin. So what to do? The money sit right there? No. So you have to have a way direction. Remember, you direct them. If you cannot find such and such, okay, the last time I know is in Australia, but if you cannot find him, the lawyer usually will tell you roughly you need to wait how long if you don't know where the address, and you're not keep in touch basically. um, then past that time, then they will look at your will. What is the direction? The direction is like, okay, forget about it, and then put this his portion back to my residues, and then give it to more people. Fine, but you need to tell them. Okay. And special instruction again, when I need to sell real estates. Okay, 3 kids, give it to you. But one of them say, I don't want to sell it because the market is no good. I want to wait. Executor, right? The other two say, no, 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 no. We have to. We cannot wait that long. Okay, cannot do anything. Directions. Within 2 years, this property has to be sold. Reasonable? Maybe reasonable. If one of you want to keep the property because, oh, this is so sentimental, then a mom lived there for 50 years, and I love to move back. You see all these HGTV show. I saw that before, right? They come back to the old folks house, and then we renovate a little bit, and then she can live there, right, comfortably, right? Okay. If things like that, what will happen? Then you have to direct them again. Directions. Whoever want to keep this family home, this person have to use the current marketplace or whatever amount his or her siblings agree, because it's the beneficiary is the sibling, say, and then pay back the his or her brothers and sisters portion. Then he can take it back. So, like, say you have 3 kids, and your house worth $3 million. Okay, just do the math easily. Okay, and so one of them want to keep, then that person needs to give $1 million to one sister, $1 million to another brother. Then this person can keep it and change the name. All right, directions. Now, if the named beneficiaries cannot receive the gifts, means like by the time that you need to give your money or whatever to that person maybe, one, cannot be found, two, maybe passed already, three, maybe in a stage like is in a home, in whatever, then you give him a gigantic uh, uh, oak wood furniture set of your beautiful living room. That person cannot take it. Then what? Directions. If this person cannot receive, what happened to this thing, right? Give it to her daughter, give it to her son, or just donate or whatever. All right. So it's a lot of different situations that they cannot receive your gifts. Then what happened? Okay. So at the end, say you sell this, they sell your real estate, they settle your bank, they pay all your tax and that. So they will come down to a lump sum called residue. They consolidate everything, they sell whatever they need to do, and then turn it into money. So the residues is all your assets minus your liabilities, minus all the legal fees, right? Minus the EAT, means the estate administration tax, and minus the income tax of that year for that person. Minus everything. No more. And then that is a residue. Now, then you have to figure out how I want to distribute these residues. I want to give fixed amount to each of my beneficiaries, or I'm giving them percentage. If you have tons and a lot, and not many in a stock market, is in more reliable sector, then maybe fixed amount is okay. But we usually will ask our clients that if percentage may be more workable. So then you don't need to worry about I use a lot, right? Because I still have smart aging living there. I still want to use some money for travel, use the money to hire a PSW to take care of me, or do some kind of renovations. I want a home lift, go to my second floor, or renovations down on the main floor, and doing all this, right? This is all we do for our clients and our friends and members. This is what our plan is. So I already know that a lot of you will probably one day make good use of it smartly. Okay, so percentage is smart. No matter what, 50% go to this person. No matter what, 30% go to another person. Even though I have $1, okay, then this is 50%, 30%. Then you don't need to worry about it. Or you will think about some of my beneficiaries, maybe I need to set up a testamentary trust. Means like money comes out to some people, you give it to them directly. So the bank, I mean the lawyer will write them a check, whatever, done. But for some, maybe they said, oh boy, my son, this son, this son doesn't know how to save money. The money that I gave it to him, I give it to him maybe within a year or two, then he probably will get rid of it. All right, and so you don't want that happen. So some people will set up a testamentary trust. Obviously, you need to find out like how much, blah blah blah. But your estate, I mean your executor, need to set it up. So say every month I'm giving $5,000 to help him. Right, it's very good money for now, but 20 years down the road, maybe just you know, just just 1,000 or two, right? Okay, doesn't matter. So you give it to him. But when he up to 75 years old, just for example, then I will give him more. Because you're already 75. Why I have to keep the money for you? You should be able to, so you can direction again to do and use all these tools to help them. All right. So that is the last. I mean, what time is it? Hey, pretty good. My assistant will say, will give me a thumbs up, I guess, this time. I give around few minutes, and I want to see if any questions come up. Maybe either Louise or Angel can let me know. If not, then everybody can go for a coffee. No question for now. Okay, good. All right then. So now everybody can go for a break. Okay, washroom break, whatever I need to, and then we'll come back in 2:15 on 2:15. Okay, at 2:15 at 2:15. Okay, and then within this period of time, if you can think of any questions that you want to ask me later, then you start typing in, and we will gather it together for the last round. Okay. All right. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you a bit. All right. I believe that everybody is done with your break time. All right. So we'll continue. All right, because the second section and the third section, it does take time to get it all done with. Okay. Now, oops. Ah, where's my thing? Go. Okay. All right. So the second section is the understanding of advanced planning in Ontario. Advanced planning means like your cemetery and funeral pre-planning. Okay. It's part of your estate, as we explained before. All right. So before we do that, we need to understand what is your consumer rights, what exactly dictates how funeral home and and cemetery and crematorium, how they operate, what type of regulations that they need to follow. So when you walk into these type of facilities, then you know that they are doing it correct. They're doing it right according to the law. All right. So in Ontario is great. Why I say that? Compared with another provinces in Canada, Ontario have it more organized. We do have our own bereavement authority organization of Ontario. Some provinces they don't. They mix up with government, city. They need to call out the cities or local province. They need to figure out what to do. Usually, sometimes, but Ontario, maybe we are so big. We have so many people living, and also is quite condensed. So they have their own authority, which is already is a government delegated authority. All right, so they are administrating the provisions of, first of all, funeral means like funeral home, burial and cremation services. Burial means like cemetery. All right, so funeral home, cemetery, cremation services is also including crematorium. All right, so and on behalf of the Ministry of Government and Consumer Services. So they have a guideline, and you can pick up this guideline either on website. So if you type www.bao.ca, then you can get on the website. You can download a copy, or you can just read a little bit, and they cover quite good. They have a new a booklet came out and cover a lot more, and also in a layout that is easy to read, easy to understand. So I will urge you have time to go up to www.bao.za, and then you can find it all out. Now, our license in Ontario means like nobody can come to you and talk to you about cemetery. Nobody can come and talk to you about funeral home if they are not licensed directors. And this license is out from BAO. Okay, so having said that, that I myself have these two licenses, so that's why I can use the webinar. I can do a face-to-face consultations. We can do seminars. We can do all sort of tools. We can use all sort of tools to talk to you, to help you to do the advanced planning for you, for yourself, for your families, for your old folks, whatever. Okay, now. And also, this BAO is responsible for protection of the public interest. Okay, so BAO regulates and support licensed us. I'm sorry, funeral establishment operations means like funeral home. Okay, and then directors, which is us. Pre-planners, which is also us. Um, Director means like funeral director. When a person pass, if you do not do anything about before, you walk into the funeral home, you talk to a funeral director, they sit you down, they help you to do all this funeral arrangement. Um, but some people like you guys like to do pre-planning. You want to know ahead of time. You want to put aside certain things and for that use in the future. Then pre-planner is also another license. Then I myself have it, so that's why I can talk about the cemetery and the funeral services for you. Cemetery, same thing. We're the cemetery director, so we can explain to you what type of thing. Crematorium, which is the cremation part, they have an operator, all right? And transfer service operator means like sometimes in a uh, town, little town, still across Canada, we still have a little township, okay? Um, they don't have a funeral home. All right, maybe two little towns or two little village. They don't call village now, but they two or three towns. They will have one place, maybe bigger, geographically, and they will have a funeral home there. But all the others surrounding area, they will have something called transfer service. Means like if a person pass in the hospital or in the hospital or at home, then they can arrange um, uh, trans- uh, um, transfer vehicles to go to that place to transfer the deceased body out. That is only doing transfer, but they cannot do funeral services. They need to take the body all the way to the funeral home and then carry on the services. And so this they have a protection for the public interest, which is you and me. Okay, so you can go up there, and then they can tell you what you can do, what you should not do, or usually they say, like you have rights to do all this stuff, and don't allow the funeral director or the funeral home telling you not to, because as a matter of fact, I am in this sector, but you understand, right? Every business you have some black sheep. Okay, so at least you know like where those black sheep are and don't go to them. All right, now, so this is a new look of the bereavement consumer information guide. Okay, so you go up and you can take a look yourself. All right, okay. So how do I get started planning my own funeral? Or do I really need a funeral home? The answer yes, because funeral home or transfer, you need at least the transfer service, because otherwise then the deceased body cannot move out from your home. Now some provinces they still do allow the family to transfer. Okay, not the coach, not the funeral coach. Okay, in Canada, if you're Muslim, if you are doing if your religion is Muslim, then they have their own way to do that too. I happened to know a Muslim a culture uh, introduced by one of my clients a long time ago. So now we do understand. I do understand what you need to do, and we do have a contact person. Um, so they can help us. So slightly different, right? They don't go to the funeral home, but they do go to the mosque. And mosque, they have Aman. Aman is the person just like the funeral director in our sense, okay, to help. Now, so it's a place to go for help planning your funeral. Funeral home in Ontario, they must have a funeral service business license. And this license, again, issued by BAO. Okay, so they have to um, have all these criteria so then they can receive the license. Okay, funeral home must also follow the Ontario Funeral Service Code of Conduct. All right, so they cannot oversell. They cannot tell you something that you don't really have to buy from them. And then they have to have compassion. All these things they need to follow. Otherwise, then if you report to BAO, then BAO will take actions, and BAO will go down and to investigate. This is the how BAO can protect the general public when they need to go to funeral home, either for pre-planning or for the at-need situations. Now, can all funeral home offer pre-need funeral arrangement? No. If they don't have the pre-planner or a licensed personnel sitting there, then they cannot do pre-planning. Means like they can only take care of people that they pass. And then the family walk in there and say, Mom did not have any funeral done, prepare. So now we have to arrange one for her. But if they do have the pre-need salesperson license or director sales license, then they can. And also the funeral services business license too. So all these two things together, then they can offer you, when you walk in, they can offer you a pre-need funeral arrangement or something like, they need to have people like us associate with them. All right. Okay. The pre-need funeral arrangement contract. We're talking about contract because when you walk in the funeral home for the pre-planning, you are not really using the facility. You can look at the facility. You can look at all these, how clean the washroom is, and how big is the cafeteria, and how organized the staff, and what is the layout of the funeral home. Yes, you can look at them, but you are not using them. You just put it in your mind and say, okay, I like all these that I just mentioned. So that's why and I like the locations. It's very close to our family, most of our family, and it's fine, right? So that's good. So um, then you make your choice and say, okay, I will go with this funeral home. All right. Now, then after you finish all this, then you really sit down with a funeral pre-planner. Okay, you either in the funeral home or you can outside the funeral home. You don't really need to write the contract in the funeral home for pre-planning. Okay, but no matter what you do, you have a contract. And now I'm showing you what exactly you need to see in that contract. So you make it valid, make it legal, and then at the end of the day, then when you have to use it, then your family won't find it differently. Your family can just pick up the number, call the funeral home, everything is good, everything is legal, and then yes, you can come in and do the finalization as an executor for your mom, and then the thing will carry out the way that you want. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to that. So for your pre-arrangement funeral contract, is all or part of the cost. You don't need to prepare every single little details in that contract, but it's two big things that you usually do. Or sometimes people just do one thing. and which is the service. Service is the fundamental. If you don't know which service that you're going to use, right, or you want to use at least, then it's no point to do a pre-planning. Okay, pre-planning, the basic thing is what type of service that I want. I want a traditional, I want a same day, I want a direct, whatever, whatever. Today we don't have a lot of enough time to talk about all these five popular services. But if you want to call me, you can. Or later on, maybe I have another estate planning 102 instead of 101, and then I will talk about something that is more specific. Okay, but today I wanted to know, when you walk in or you talk to people like us, then at least you know what the minimum you should have. And obviously you can add on, you can add the casket, you can even add on, like, I want to buy flowers from you, I can do all these. And you can talk about those stuff. Okay, now, um after you finished talking about what type of style you want, what type of casket you like, maybe, and then flowers, clergy, newspaper. That is in the other part A forms, which is called disbursement. Means like right now you're just thinking you are going to use that, but later on the price will go up. Now those is not a guarantee price. Right now you thought that the catering for 50 people coming into the facility, and after the ceremony or after the service, everybody go to the cafeteria or the restaurant, type of nice canteen or whatever you call it, a reception area. Okay, and how much they charge for a person with wine or without wine, and how many people, then they will give you all these informations, but they are not charging you. Okay, if they do, you can assume very much so you will pay more, because those things will go up and they are not locked up. Okay, because those are the third party. Sometimes they will hire catering people come in to do it for you, right? Food, whatever, whatever, right? So, but you can talk about that and they can mark it down on the file. So at least, like, when the time comes, services, good, casket already picked, and then the funeral director will talk to your children and say, you know what, your mom is thinking about this, and then you guys still want to do that? If it is, the price will be this nowadays, and if not, then obviously you can do whatever you like. So those are the contract content. And then after you have all these, then you have a lump sum. You have to pay tax. The contract will be taxable too. And then you have two ways to pay for your pre-need funerals. One is you pay the funeral home directly, and they have to put your money in a trust, because, as I said, right, nobody's using it right now. And then in the trust, maybe they will allow you to pay. Some funeral home, maybe they allow you to pay installment for a year, 2 years, or whatever. Maybe maximum is 4. But a lot of them, usually they will say, within 90 days, okay, it's no interest charge. So you give us some down payment, and then within 90 days you can pay it off. Or you decided to pick up installment, then they do different funeral home or company. They have different finance charge percentage on it. So you just do that, but the money go to the funeral home. If you ask me as a pre-planner, then I will say, if possible, pick some funeral home, then they are big. Means like they are not one single family owned. Because you're doing pre-need, you are not doing at need. At need doesn't matter. Any funeral home that you can see and you like the location, and people told you that such and such is good, you just walk in there and help your folks to do that. But because it's a pre-need, we are talking about maybe 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, then you will going to use it. If it's a single funeral home, if they decided to retire, usually in Canada, it's like that, right? One person start a funeral home and then business good, grow, they probably will get second or the third, in different, maybe, in different locations, but it's close to. And some of them maybe they do very good. We know that is the cases in Ottawa. They is a one funeral home. They have 7 locations, and it's belong to one guy, which is good. This is very good already. All right. Um, but if you have like big company funeral home, then will be better because if this one for whatever reason got relocated, see the business won't go down because it's so big. Government won't allow it to go down. Otherwise, they have troubles. But if they don't go down, and but they can relocate them, and then you have no problem. You're still dealing with the same company, and then they can redirect you to different funeral home at the end of the day. Um, but if you don't, if a funeral home got sold to another owner, then obviously they will pick it up. But if one day they decided not to do, and no kids in the family want to take up this business, this family business, and they have nobody to sell to say, then this funeral will disappear, right? And then your money going to the trust, their trust, then we may we may have a big question mark. So if you know all these pros and cons, okay, then you choose smartly. All right. But you still can do that. Okay. All right. Um, okay. But a lot of people for pre-need, then they will think about why do I not pay to a third party, basically. And this party, when you look down here, okay, is Assurance Life of Canada. This company is the only companies in Canada that you can use to do your pre-need funeral arrangement. So what they do is you pay the money to Assurance Life of Canada monthly or yearly or quarterly, whatever you want to do, and then they will receive your money. Obviously, they're like insurance, right? So, like say I have cancer, and I got diagnosis 2 years ago. So I'm still in that, timeline that I cannot be 100% healthy, clear according to the insurance health questions. Okay, but I still can buy it. Okay, so I arrange a funeral services with a casket, very minimum. I just do those 2 things, and then I pay the money to Assurance Life of Canada every single month uh, for um, for 10 years. Okay, this is my term. I choose 10 years because the number I think is within my budget, so I'm doing it. But within 2 years, if I pass, remember I have cancer, right? When I pass, then within 2 years, then the rest of my services and casket total, I have to pay it. I still need to pay it. But if I can survive 2 years from the time that I signed the contract, hit the 25th month, something happened to me, I pass, then remember I still have 8 years to pay, supposedly. Or to be precise, 7 years and 11 months. But that 7 years and 11 months, then I don't need to pay because insurance plan will kick in and cover it. That is what the insurance coming into place. If I'm very healthy, healthy means like they have some kind of a health situation, and if I'm very healthy, I have nothing to worry about, and I will say no to all these questions of the health questions. So I pay for 20 years term, right? When younger people can do longer terms, maximum is 20. and I pay monthly. And with all these stuff that I pay, maybe I just need to pay like $75 a month. All right. So the very first payment, $75, Assurance Life of Canada got it from my credit card. This is the agreement. Then I'm fully insured. If something happened to me, I got in an accident, I um, uh, I got knocked down by a car or whatever, whatever, um, or I got COVID. Okay, then I pass. Then what happened to my 19 years of 11 month payment? Insurance will pay for you, no more, because they treat it as like life insurance type of thing, right? When we're paying the life insurance, when we pass, we're not going to pay that. The insurance company need to give me back, right? Whatever I bought, right? Okay, so that is the way that you look at it. Now, and then some other company that they don't do Assurance Life of Canada. Assurance Life of Canada pair with funeral home. So whatever that I bought, all right, item by item, when I need to use it, funeral home will give it back to me item by item. Doesn't matter your prices go up sky high because insurance will pay the difference. You have to give me back exactly what I bought. Okay? But some insurance funded plan is out there. They have some insurance company that they will come to you and say, "Hey, buy the insurance for your funeral," and but they buy a lump sum. They say, okay, roughly right now is maybe just take a ballpark number with the casket and everything is very safe that you say $10,000. Okay, so they said, okay, are you buying $10,000? Obviously not, because you know that the inflation and the price will go up. Okay, how about I do um, uh, uh, $20,000. How about how about I just double it, $20,000. Okay, so you buy a an insurance with $20,000. By the time that I need to use it, if the price is more than $20,000, then my family need to pay the differences. Okay. So you just need to know what type of insurance that you like to go ahead with. Okay. So obviously, when you do the math, a lot of people will say money going to Assurance Life of Canada looks like more smart because at the end of the day, you don't need to worry about that. You need to come up with the differences. All right. Okay. So in your pre-need funeral contract, all right, you need to consider a few things. One, all the professional service charge, you will see that registered death, arrange paper, all these things, transfer the dead body, all these like professional services, you have to see it list line by line. Your facilities charges, how many rooms that you're going to use, how many days of the rooms that you're going to use, right? Traditional, use one night for 4 hours, next day for the funeral service, maybe 2 to 3 hours. Some is like same day, I don't need to come in the night before, everything is happen on the same day. Morning, I comes in for the visitations, and then maybe an hour to 2 hours later, then we will have a funeral services followed. Like that is the same day. Okay, so facility charges listed out line by line. Transportation cost. Okay, take the deceased body, transfer from the place of death back to the funeral home, and so you will see it all there. Flower car, take the flowers all the way up to the cemetery. The administration car, which is I need to do the administration plus they would serve as a lead car on the day of burial and funeral. All these they list it all out, and then you choose the casket. What's the cost of the casket? Okay. Some people would say, well, but you know what, Connie, I choose the casket right now, maybe very popular, but maybe 20 years down the road it's no longer popular or whatever reason the casket company no longer make it. Then what happened? Then they will say, okay, whatever range of that casket they do have three big range usually. When you go in, it's very high end, and then they have a middle range, and then they have a lower range, maybe good for cremations. They're very a simple box or whatever, right? So at least you have three range of caskets. Right, so you pick the middle. Usually, I ask people, you pick the middle. You don't need to be way high or too low, because at the end of the day, if you really need to use it, middle one have more choices. And if they don't make that casket anymore, they will give you back that range, and then they say, okay, among these 3 and 4, a casket, you can choose it. So your children or your family, then they can choose within that range. All right. But now you have to pick one to put it on your contract. That's all. Some religions or some culture, then they like to use the outer vault, like a burial vault. So you can pick one, right? Different, same thing, different range, different design, whatever, whatever. And the cost of cremation, if applied, if you choose cremation at the end, then you have to put the cost of cremation there. And then the cremation, maybe you don't need to get a casket to go to the crematorium. Maybe you will choose something very simple, soft wood, a container. But in Ontario, cremation has to be done. The deceased body has to be enclosed in a container. Okay, cannot be just a person in there. So you will put that one in. And sometimes like people even say, okay, I like the urn that you guys have. Same thing, urn just like casket. If they do have the same type of urn, then the when we need to use it, they give it to you. If not, then will be just give you a choices again. You just pick and choose. So all these will be in your pre-need funeral contract, and you will see it item by item listed very clearly. Cannot be a lump sum, okay? And then itemize the cost of any other disbursement. Before we talk about what is disbursement, flowers is disbursement, reception is disbursement, newspaper, hire clergy is a disbursement. So itemize cost of any other. We put it right there, but it's another additional sheet because you are not paying that. Okay, so then you put all these costs all together, a list of current locations where embalming and cremation service are to be performed. Sometimes some funeral home, they don't have the embalming preparation facility there. They probably will borrow another sister funeral home close to it to do all this. So when you're using all these, you have to go and ask, will the embalming there? Some people care. Some people say, no, I leave it to the professional to do. I don't need to know too much. So it's up to the family. Okay. But you do have a right to ask, and they have obligation to answer you where would be, or if not, then where it will be. Okay. Likely. All right. So in the case of cremated remains not claimed, there will be a line saying that if you don't come back to pick up the remainder remains, then what will happen? So you have to understand. Then they will say under a certain time period of time is not coming in, then they will dispose by the funeral home on your behalf, and then they do have that, and you have to make sure that you initial that. And then all these done, then you've licensed pre-planner, and the purchaser, which is you, has to sign the paper to make it legal. If you go through Assurance Life of Canada, then you're still thinking two more positions. One is the purchaser, obviously purchaser and the certificate owner. Are they the same person? Sometimes they don't. Sometimes like a son helping dad and mom to prepare, but dad and mom know nothing about it. I have some cultures doing that. But this is no good though. But maybe the situation has to be like that. Then we do have owners, certificate owner, and the purchaser can be the same person because the son is the one signing it, the son is the one paying it, and the son is the one holding the certificate for that particular contract. But the beneficiary, or say the recipient of the service, obviously it's not the son, it's the father, it's the mother. So all these we have to ask you when we're really sitting down with you, and then step by step asking you what is the best, who is supposed to do what, and who is supposed to sign, and then you have it all good. But at least the licensed pre-planner and a purchaser has to sign. So when you are not sure that person is a licensed pre-planner, you ask, I want to see your license. So for us, we always carry our license. I do that just in case, um, conversation, and people ask me because people know that I do things like that. So I always need to carry it because by law, before I open my mouth, I has to be able to show the license. Okay, so you can ask. This is your rights. So some people ask, can I cancel my pre-need funeral contract? Yes, you can. All right. But you have to make sure that what is the penalty? Do they charge you? What time is it? Trust fund. The first 30 days, you can have a cooling period, just like you're buying a house. And then after 30 days, and they probably will charge you some administration fees. All these you can ask ahead of time. Okay. And then how about if I change my mind later about what I want? Now, usually pre-planning is like you cannot go in every time, like you change your mind and you tell them you change. No, usually is you put it there. If you change your mind, you write it down. Tell your people that whoever helped you to do the thing, and then at the end they can change it because whoever usually is executor of your will have all the say to take care of your funeral service and arrangement. Even though you pre means like you pay. That's all. You pay it all off, but at the end, if they want to change it, they still can. Okay, that's the reality. Okay, so you can tell that person if you want to change it, or you say, I don't like that casket. I want you to put up my casket. I like the mahogany now. Okay, all right. So by the time that they have to do that, then they will put you up as a mahogany. Okay. Now, then sometime when now COVID, nobody supposed to travel, I hope. Uh, but later on, when we go back to our more normal life, so we will. So Assurance Life of Canada offer a travel plan, which is very good, and you can consider that. It's only $595 right now, no tax, and then put it on top of your funeral pre-planning contract, and then you can pay it with 10 years, whatever, like terms that you want to, and then help us when we really die outside your province, outside Canada. Then our body can be all shipped back, all good. All the paperwork will be done. You don't need to worry about it. And then the funeral home that you uh, purchase the pre-planning, I mean pre-need contract with, that funeral home will be responsible to the Pearson Airport to pick up our body and then take it back to the funeral home to carry on whatever that you agreed for them to help you in for your funeral arrangement. Okay. Now, so and also people say, can I move my trusted funded plan to another province? Yes or no, right? Trusted funds is usually go to a single family funeral home. So that you have to ask very clearly, can they do that? And also for the price, when you go to a funeral home or you sit down with a funeral pre-planner, they're supposed to be able to give you a price list, a full price list of whatever funeral home that you decided to do or you talk about it. Okay, so right now, as you can tell me, and as you can tell, I'm not telling you any funeral home names, right? Because I cannot. How many price lists I need to submit you, right? But but when you're really sitting down with us, and then one on one, we look at your situation, where you live, and blah blah blah. So then we can suggest, or you can ask a different funeral home, and then by that time, I need to put it, give it to you. Okay, and anything that you can ask, you can ask. Be specific. You can ask all these specific question. No question is stupid question, because those are the very important service that your family um, will have it for you. So you ask. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not going through the pre-planning checklist, because prepayment checklist, uh, prepayment is like up to what you pay and how you pay and how much you pay, all this stuff. But the rule is keep all the record, keep all the receipts. Okay, especially you have to spread it all out for 20 years, for 15 years for your funeral pre-planning. Okay, so you do that. All right. So then we're talking about cemetery because we are running out of time. I will do it very quickly here. Now, burial or cremation, they can all happen in the cemetery. Okay. Now, cemetery, when you walk in or talk to the cemetery uh, 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 director, then obviously you need to know plot price. Everybody want to know that. Opening and closing, how much is it? These sections can do marker, like bronze marker or monument. How could I, do you charge maintenance fees? All these four basic things you need to ask, so you know. All right. Besides the cost, anything that you need to know? Well, some cemetery or funeral home, they only allow you to use certain caskets, right? And they have a certain companies that they deal with. All right. If you like it, you pick it from them. But if you don't like it, BAO say you can go elsewhere to buy it yourself. Okay. So the details you can ask them, but they cannot tell you you cannot. Okay. Some cemetery require a casket to be placed in a vault, and some say you have to, whatever reason they will give it to you. Some of them say no, you don't need to. It's a obligate, it's a options, and you can just bury the casket as it is in ground. Okay. Um, some cemetery no, cemetery actually required by law will reduce the rate to veteran, but not necessarily they have to give or um, design a spot next to your veteran family members. Okay, the family members maybe just somewhere else, but still in the same cemetery maybe. So you can ask all these questions. Okay, before you need to purchase the burial plot from them. So cremations. Cremation actually, it's just a lot of people know at the end. We don't need to go detail now, but at the end, which is we have something called cremated remains. And cremated remains, when we give it back to the family, then you either can give them a urn so they can put it in for you, or if no urn, then we will come out in a temporary box, right, all sealed, okay, labeled, okay. So that's all you will receive first, and then you can decide. Some family they take it back home, okay, they take it back to Scotland. I have a lot of family, Irish and Scottish. So they take it back home, because back home they have the family estate lot, can put a lot of people there, right? So they do that, and some Chinese they do that too. um, but they don't do that and too many anymore. Chinese, they usually like to come out here and they will create their own family lot here in Canada. So but as I said, doesn't need to be earned, can be a box, and then give it back to the family, and they can use, they can put it somewhere else. Now, cremation has to be taking place in a place called crematorium. Okay, crematorium. Usually inside a funeral home, or they can stand alone by itself. It all depends which one that your funeral director want to use it. Okay, so need a casket, yes, but maybe they can call it container, but still it's required, as we talked about before. And cremation remain can be buried? Yes, it can be. Doesn't need to be in the niche above ground. Can be buried in the burial plot, or even cremation plot. So it all depends the garden that you are interested in, and you can go in and you can ask them, or ask whoever helping you to make all this arrangement. Okay, so a lot of people say, do I really need a funeral service, or say celebration of life nowadays when I plan to donate my body to science? Celebration of life got nothing to do with your donation or not, right? It's a celebration of life. Celebration of life can be after the fact, right? Funeral service is yes or no. Funeral service means a service that a casket is right in front, and then people will comes in and have a some have a religious ceremony, will have a priest, ministers, or ama will come in and then perform or facilitate the service for you while the casket is right in that room. That we call it funeral service. That means like if we decided to do cremation, funeral service has to be before the cremation started. If it's after the cremation and then we either put it in the urn or we put it in the box, doesn't matter, then a lot of people will say this is a memorial service. A memorial service, sometimes they will slash celebration of life. It all depends like how you want these things happen. But timing wise, funeral service before the burial, obviously, and before the cremation. Celebration of life can be anytime. After or at is fine. If I donate my body, what will happen? Donate the body, talk to the university, they like it, they're very happy that you can do that. But I remember, it's not happening right now. It can be happening 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road. By the time that we need to give it to them, they will come, then our executor or our next of kin, whoever taking care of that for you, will contact them. At that moment, they need to say yes or no. They cannot say maybe, because the hospital need to know where those things go. Either go to the school or go to the funeral home and take care of the body. So if the university at that time have enough body to take care of their teaching purposes, then they won't accept more. Remember, they're not funeral home. They have no place to store not to use yet body. Once they receive, they will use it. All right. So if they cannot, then you have a plan B. So donate your body to science is very noble thought. Share with your family. I understand if the family at the end of the day decided not to, then obviously nobody can take the body, even the organ, even the tissues, same thing. Okay, I see a lot. Remember, oh, in palliative, right? In the cancer patients, okay, I see a lot that family at the end they don't want to, and we all respect them because this is they have to deal with it. They have to live with it, that thought or that action. Um, so usually I would tell my clients, if you have this noble thought, put a plan B. The plan B is if they don't take it, they cannot take it, or my children doesn't want me to be, cut open, then I should have a funeral service done, like everybody else. So then people will ask, but if I do the pre-need, if I don't need it, what should I do? Then you just your power of attorney or your executor can write to Assurance Life of Canada, telling them that mom already passed, but mom's body finally can be accepted by University of Toronto, the medical department, and then now we are no longer need to use the services. Then they will reverse the money out. They will take a little bit of administration, mind you, but they will give it back to your executor. So you don't need to worry too much that if I do that and you don't use it, then what happened? It's better than you have it, not use it, than you don't have it, but you have to use it. Okay? Now, so benefit for advanced planning, again, saving money if money is a concern, because the fees will be frozen at today's I call it low price. The price is not low, maybe for some, but it's lower than the future price. Family benefit for them because they don't need to running around and not knowing what to do at the time. I saw too many like that, especially COVID-19 right now. A lot of people don't expect that they will pass this quick. I have family coming in, they keep saying it. Mom should not pass. Mom should not. Mom is having a very good health, but you never know. So they're totally not prepared, and so you're helping them. Okay, and choice means like you can create a very unique arrangement because you say it. You have your say, you have your wishes, and you have a preference, and your whole family know it, and then they would do that. And at the end, remember, no matter what you do for your pre-planning, for your advanced planning, you have to have a peace of mind. If you don't, then stop and think again. Have a peace of mind, not just yourself, but your whole family too. Okay, so I try to do that. And now I do not know if anybody have any question. If you don't, which is fine, probably I cover a lot, or you like to hold it until later. So I will. Do we have any question came up yet? I'm asking my coworker. Somebody type yes. Okay. So are you going to? Should we take care of them now? Or
Yes.
you think that I should take care of it later?
Hello, Connie. Can you hear us?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we have a few questions about the will.
Okay.
So,
If you think that it's good time for me to answer it, you ask on their behalf. You are the controller.
okay, I think we can use 10 minutes. 10 minutes to answer the questions.
We can use what? Sorry.
10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes to answer the questions. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. First question. Do you have any guideline for selecting a lawyer to draft a will?
Yes, I do. If you don't have your own lawyers, and you can email to info@silvergreen.ca. Okay. The title is "I need help to get a lawyer." Okay. And then we can reply you in your private email.
Okay, next one. What are the pros and cons to use a law firm which does not have a dedicated lawyer to follow my will?
What is the pros and cons that we use a law firm
Which
that
does
have
not have
no lawyers
to follow my will?
Okay, we can only guess this audience. Usually when you do a will in a law firm, if the lawyer say will close down the business, maybe he or she retired before your will has to be executed, then I would suggest my client, when you finish the will with the lawyer, you ask the lawyer to register the will for you, and then they will give a number, the registration number, and then you keep that number, and also you give this number to your executor. So when things happen, then your executor can go to retrieve this will. Doesn't matter, the lawyer still exists at that time to help out for the administration, or they can take it out and then they can go to different places to ask for legal help right? Say something like us can do the administration part, so they can do that. So in this case, then you don't need to worry about the lawyer can be helping at the end to do the continue to do the administration or not. I think this is what they want to know. If not, they can ask again. Do you have another one?
Okay, and one more. What is a reasonable fee for hiring a lawyer to do the spousal will?
Okay, now a lot of lawyers outside, they they will tell you that they are doing estate law. Okay, but I can tell you, not many. Usually, lawyer comes out, they will do real estate law first, and then, as a matter of fact, there's a lot of them like that outside. And then because the estate will and POAs become more demanding and popular, so a lot of people they say I'm doing estate too. I'm doing will writing too. Okay. So if you really need a family lawyer pair with your estate law lawyer, I explained it a little bit. This is the best combination to dealing to take care of um, your will, estate will, because they understand inside out what need to be done and what not to be done. So those people usually they have two people's will. They will charge you around $800 per person, roughly, in and out, maybe some thousand. But for people, I say they're doing estate, real estate. They now just add on all these simple will. Basically, you have only bank account and then not even have house. Okay, if I would say you have a bank account, you only have money. Okay, at the end, and then you just do the money to the kids. Very simple. Okay, no complications that you can think of. Then maybe you can go to those lawyers to write a will for you, and their charge is half of what the others I mentioned. So maybe 400, and then for two people to walk in, maybe they will charge you 750, 800 maximum, but they can probably give you two POAs. Later on, we're talking about POAs later after the break, and all these maybe they give it to you as a set. But if you want to know more about what to do, then I would suggest you email to info@silvergreen.ca if you are my members, and I will urge you to become one, because right now I don't charge anything for the basic, and then I will give you a 30 minutes free consultation time. Then you still can ask more questions. I'll ask you all these questions and you can fill it in, and then you can have a better presented, prepared will. Then even though you take it to the lawyers, if they are not estate law lawyer, at least you can cover as much as you should, like you are going to a um, uh, estate law lawyer to do your will. So I can help you uh, doing that, and then you take it to whatever. So it's up to you. But again, um, email us, and then I can show you what is the better way to do. Okay. Do you have next one? If not, then we'll take a break because we always like miss this break now.
That is all. That is all for now. So
Okay,
we
good.
can take a break now.
Yeah, we can take the break. Maybe we can come back to 3:20.
3:30.
Can we do 3:20? What time is it now?
Actually, we can come at 3:30.
Really?
Yeah, because you finished earlier. You have 1 hour for the session 2.
Perfect. Okay. Well, then no, 3:20 then. If then people can go, they can go early because it's a beautiful day today. If
Okay,
I don't need to use up all the time, okay. How about 3:20? Then they don't need to wait for too long for the last
okay.
section. If it's okay to you guys, okay. 3:20. See ya. Okay. Hello everybody. Come back. All right. Hopefully it's enough time for you to take a break. Okay. So we're coming down to the third sessions, and these sessions, a lot of people uh, don't think that is that important, but um, actually, it's very because they're dealing with when we're still alive, and usually dealing with the situations that we are in, um, and um, and it's quite critical. So that's why I hope that you. I know that the session. I know today is a little long, but I need your concentration a little bit more for the POA and living will. A lot of people understand power of attorney, so I will do power of attorney first. POA, okay, short form. It's a legal document. Again, it's a legal document. Then give someone else, like somebody, the right to make decisions on your behalf. So has to be a legal document. So usually when you go to the lawyer, I would suggest you to, when you're doing wills, then you also do POA. Minimum is 2 POAs. One is for your medical care or personal care, and second is for your finance, for your assets, for your properties, like to take care of it. Okay. As I said, I will have another sessions, and that sections I like to take care of it more details on certain um, papers or certain um, people job. One is, as I mentioned before, I wanted to do one talking about EAT, which is the estate administration tax, and the duties of executors. The second one that I want to talk about, which is the POAs, how they can, especially the personal care. A lot of people don't understand this person because it's a legal document. That person actually has the legal liability at the same time, even though you probably name your daughters. Maybe you name your son to do that. But these two people, they are legally uh, re, liable. So if something not doing right legally, um, then people can sue them even. Okay. So today I'm not trying to say too much because it will have basically will be another topic, but I want you to know about it. Um, don't treat this POA forms or documents too lightly. Okay. So again, you still need to name a person. The way that you name an executor, maybe you think and think and think, right? Put a lot of thoughts in it before you come up a name or two names. POA, I hope and I ask you to use the same effort because it's equally important. All right. Because when that person act on our behalf, we are not able to say, we are not able to act, and we are not able to the point that the medical personnel will listen to. So basically, our life is in their hands. Okay, your savings, your all your monies, basically, you have to trust to the point that they will not take it all away from you or sell the house without you knowing it. And then they will also do the way or take care of it the way that like you taking care of it. So you have to be very close with this POA. POA need to know what exactly you think. You share your thought, never not talk about it. Um, and hopefully this POA also is a person that they listen, they honor, they respect your wishes. Okay, don't get a person in and this person basically won't listen to you, and if he or she think that is not the right way to do or not it's not sensible for in their understanding to do, then they won't carry that out for you, then you have trouble. Okay, so you need to find that person, basically doesn't need to think like you, but you think like you is the best. But doesn't need to be think like you, but at least like honor your wishes and take care of it the way that you really want. Okay. Now, so have so-called three kinds of power attorney, but actually it's two kinds. Later on, you understand why. The first one is the personal care. Okay, the one that I just talked about, and act on your behalf when you're incapable to express and make decision by yourself. This person can take care of, are you going to the nursing home? Are you going to the assisted living? Are you going to hire PSW? That is before the hospital. And then in the hospital, are you going to take care? Are you going to use the ventilator? Are you want to have the feeding tube? And all these also, if you name that person, POA, that person also responsible by communicating with your doctor and your nurse. Okay. Another two or another one you can call is taking care of the properties. So a continuing power of attorney for properties and non-continuing power of attorney. Usually when people go to the lawyer and do this type of thing, they usually have a continued power of attorney. Means like I'm capable right now to walk into the lawyer office, tell the lawyer exactly what I want and who I'm naming at as my POA, and what kind of restriction I give it to this POA, or no restriction giving to this POA, whatever. You don't want anything stopped, no matter what your mental state will be one day. Then you're doing continuing power of attorney. Means like whatever I say right now, later on when I cannot really say or no capacity to understand or reason enough, then this power of attorney continue. All right. Another one called non-continuing, obviously, now you understand, is the other way around. Means like when I become mentally incapable, then whatever in this power of attorney document stopped. Okay. Some people will say, I would like to use my POA for property temporary. Some people will do that. Let's say every year, not pandemic, but every year I will go back to Portugal to have my vacation there. I have a families like that too, right? They have lands in Portugal, close to the ocean. It's beautiful, and then she said that one day if you go, Connie, you can go and stay in that little house that my dad built for the family vacation. So every year, her dad and mom will go back to Portugal and spend almost like 6 months there. Beautiful weather. They have relatives there, so their house and all this stuff that in Toronto, then they will give it to their daughter to take care of. But it's only 6 months. When they come back, they can take care of it. And also in that POA, they indicate you can take care of whatever the house need to be done, maybe leaking, maybe whatever. You can have people going in and fix up whatever, but you cannot sell it, right? Just just this is a restriction. And so that is also a power of attorney, temporary. You can use it as a temporary power of attorney. Okay. Um, uh, okay. So this is, you can very smartly use power of attorney to help you to take care of the properties. Before, I mean, got nothing to do with the mental incapable. Okay. All right. Important things to consider when you're making a power of attorney documents. First of all, same thing. You need to know your wishes, what you want this person to do in this period of time. And also care for your minors, again, the special needs adults, children, same thing. This power of attorney, okay, not the medical care, but it's the property, right? When I cannot do it myself for whatever reason, you stay right there. Um, this person can go to certain bank accounts to take certain amount of money every single month to give it to my adult children to use for their need, or their kids or whatever. And this person can uh, uh, cannot sell the house maybe, or even though like maybe can, because of the finance situation, but you write it all down as clear as possible. And also if you want to protect yourself, it's like, okay, I just write it right now. I don't want to change it all the time. I don't want to go back and forth. I just want to write it at the restriction and the direction, but until my capacity cannot be passed, medical or mentally, then all these can be exercised. So that is your restrictions. And then I have one uh, uh, person calling in, and they want to sell her sister's thing here with me, and so I asked her, who are you? Well, I'm the sister. I'm living in Edmonton. My sister actually is right now with me now, but she's in the capacity that she cannot fly back. She cannot do anything. I'm her POA, and I would like to help her to sell her cemetery purchases here with you. Okay, fine. So then I asked her, do you have the POA? And then she said, "Yes, I do have a POA. Wonderful. Can you give me the chance to look at your POA?" So she emailed me the POA, and then she emailed me um, her ID and all the stuff. Um, I know it's not 100%, but at least I look at it. And when I look at the POA, I find out that um, her sister make a lot of restrictions on it, which is very good. She said, when I cannot help myself and capable, so she listened very clearly. I need two doctors to have the a report saying that I'm not capable mentally or physically to take care of my affairs. Then my sister, which is the named it POA, can help to do that. Like she have all these in and out, right? So I look at it and say, great, wonderful. She's really know what she's doing. So I call back the sister, and then I told her that I need to see two doctors' reports saying your sister is not capable. Then I will talk to you. I will talk to you whatever that you want to help your sister to do. Never hear him back. Never hear her back. Okay, very very smart. And then later on, I find it out she was a medical doctor herself. So obviously she understands. Okay, so when you do your POA, okay, I hope that you still can use this techniques to protect yourself and your properties. Okay. Now, same thing. Are you using multiple attorneys, co-attorneys, one after the other? Same thought when you pick your executor. Okay. Or this one is even better because you can have different POA. Now, will you can have one and usually taking care of Ontario. But POA, you can have different papers. As I said, you can have this POA only taking care of what my house, this POA taking care of your the bank accounts or whatever, or this one is a permanent under whatever restrictions, and the other one is temporary, only within this period of time, this 6 months when I'm in Portugal. That you can use smartly. Personal medical care, same thing, right? You talk about that with your medical, I mean your POA. Tell them that your wishes. Tell them that you want to go to the nursing home, or you don't, or in what circumstances that I you help me to go to a long-term care. Some people say if I cannot walk, okay, if I have to use the wheelchair, okay, then yes, then I will go to, like, you can just write it down very clearly. So this person have a guideline. This person cannot say, oh well, I just don't want to take care of you, so I send you to the nursing home. No, like, you do that, so help them. And then obviously your property one, you can choose continuing or non-continuing. And the last part, which is giving you a new terms to think about, power of attorney and living will. Why we have them coexistence? What they're doing? Are they overlapping, or they're taking totally different care, different thing, or how they can collaborate and help us the best? So we're going to talk about that here now. Living will. Living will is also a legal document, okay? But they only specified type of medical care that the individual does or does not want in the event. So basically they take care of does not want, okay? That doesn't matter sometimes. If you want to put it there, it's fine, but usually I say no, you don't. Just say whatever you don't want in the event. So in the event they're unable to communicate, if they still can talk, living will, even though you write one down, but doesn't matter. You won't kick in actions. It's only when you cannot talk, you cannot communicate, and they cannot find your POA. All right, I'll give you some kind of situation. So let's say a person unconscious, suffer from terminal illness or life-threatening injury, doesn't matter. So doctors and hospital consult the living will and CONC to determine whether or not the patient wants life-sustaining treatment, support, assisted breathing, tube feeding, ventilators. Nowadays, everybody familiar with this term because the COVID, and when they cannot contact the POA. So what will happen now? When a person lived most of the time by himself or herself, I will suggest that you definitely have your living will. So you put it together, I want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. Okay. Then you make a copy. You make 3 copies, I will tell my clients. One, you put it near your bed, on the bed, on the night table. The other one, you put it in on the fridge, right, with a magnet. Put it on the fridge. And then the third one, you can put it in your ensuite bathroom, around the glass cupboard or whatever. Um, One day when I fell down and I cannot get up, I go unconscious. Then my little lifeline bell, right, will call the center. Center come back and hello, hello, Connie, are you here? No, no, no. And then there's no answer. Then they will immediately call the ambulance, and the ambulance people will comes into my house. To if there's nobody in the house, obviously nobody in the house. If I'm living in a condo, then they will go to the concierge. The concierge will go up there and then open the door for them. If I'm in the house, whatever, they would just chop it and then come in. Okay, so they come in, they see me in the kitchen, lying on the floor, unconscious. What they do is they immediately will help me, right? Taking me to the hospital if I'm still breathing, obviously. So they will look around. If I'm in the kitchen, then they will look around and say, "Hey, there's a living will right there on the fridge." They will take it down, put it on my tum tum, and then put the blankets on, and then take me to the hospital. If I'm happened to lie down in my bathroom, and then they look around, bathroom, take it down. Or sometimes, then I'm just in my bedroom, fell down, whatever, and then they will look at the night table, they have it, pick it up. So usually I will suggest my clients to put at least three places that you usually be there. Okay. And when it happened, then that piece of paper will go with you to the hospital. And also, I will also tell my client, see why I have to tell clients so many times, because besides estate planning, I do a lot of emergency crisis management webinar too, and I do it for my clients and my members. So in those talks, then they will know how and what to prepare. Uh, 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 in the purse for the lady, in the wallet for a gentleman. What else that they need to prepare and help them, and just in case something happened to them, they fall and they went to they go to unconscious, what will happen, and I'll show them what to do. Okay, so that person already have all this in the handbag. So if nobody home, the paramedic comes in, do whatever I just mentioned, and then they will go to your wallet or you go to what, and then they try to find out, first of all, uh, do you have any POA written down there? What is the contact number? Or next of kin, what is the contact number? So I already actually I show people what to do with a card like that. They look at it, they keep calling. They immediately call that person. All right, while they're doing all these and going to the hospital. Okay, and just in case they cannot contact the POA, a lot of reason why cannot in the meeting, did not bring the phone in, um, they only leave the self number instead of the office number, so they cannot get hold of this person, or this person actually is flying and in the air, or in a cruise ship, then in the ocean, and all these places, then you cannot get hold of POA. Then when they go to the hospital, hospitals continue to call if the situation doesn't need to be so critical that they need to immediately put the tube in or whatever, they will still keep on calling the POA. But at the point that they cannot and they have to do something or not to do something, they look at the living will, and the living will dictate or give them the direction to do. So that's why living will and POA has to coexistence. Otherwise, you will be very sorry. Now, so living will we already cover that, right? Now, so sometimes if you are in a situation, then your brain, your mental, basically is lost. You only breathe because you have a breathing tube to help you. So the living will directive will dictate: should I take out? Should I not using it? If your living will is not in the first place, but later on got discovered, or your POA know that you do have a living will, and that person will respect your wishes, and he or she think this is the moment that you should exercise um, and follow the living will, at least he or she have something to fall back on instead of uh don't 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 take care of mom now. And then the other sibling will say, why? So actually that is like hand in hand helping her or helping him to make the decision. Because what we see all the time is different children, remember, no matter how old they are our children, okay? Um, at a situation like this, not every single one are on the same page. Some have difficult time saying not to do anything. Some have difficult time not respecting their parents. So they will have some kind of argument. Okay. If you make one as a POA, and that POA also have some kind of written kind of thing that dad and mom did write down, at least this is a very good argument and help her or him to fulfill your wishes um, easier. Okay, so that is important. All right. Now, so something called new terms. Okay, kind of have a lot of new terms today. Something called advance directive. Is it the same thing as power of attorney? Is it the same thing as a living will? No. There are three different things. But these three different things try to cover our most critical, essential moment of our last stage of life, which is I cannot say anything. I'm close to death. Basically, I cannot say anything. So we tried three different ways to cover that period of time. POA, easy to remember, is a person we name. It's a person that we trust. It's the person that we always talk to and tell him or her what my wishes are. And this person that I choose, um, I believe strongly that he or she will carry out my wishes on behalf of myself, telling my doctors and my nurse and hospitals what I want. Living will, I wrote it down. It's a legal paper. You can even go to the lawyer. Nowadays, lawyer does that too. In long, before maybe this is too new for some, especially those are not estate law lawyer. They are not up to the par all the time. But nowadays, people understand it, right? So, will, living will, POA. Okay, you can do all these at one shot when you go and see your lawyer. Now, so the living will also are written documents, legal documents, and very clearly ask and answered, like, do you want this? And then, no, I don't. And do you want this? No, I don't. And in what circumstances? Okay, I have a case like that. Dad and mom, dad passed. And then now mom have actually when she started, it's many years ago, it's not COVID, but she has the infection, and then went to the hospital, and cut the story short, but at the end, like she's not making it. She has to be in on machines. She's in ICU. Her daughter is from Boston, and so in she flew in and see mom. Mom is already unconscious, cannot really talk, cannot do anything. She's the only daughter. So the doctor will ask, like, are you the POA? And she said, no, I don't know where my mom put all this stuff, but I'm the only daughter. Okay, all right. So the doctor back then just take it, right? Because they need to make decisions. So are you going to keep mom like that, or what you're going to do? And then the daughter asked, will she get back better? And the doctor say, if she can come out, but she won't be the norm of hers before. Um, at that time, I'm with her because this is my crisis management cases. So I'm with her, and then we ask the doctor one more time and say, what do you mean that is not in her norm when she comes back? What is the difference? Don't give me all these. Can she walk? The doctor say, well, maybe. Can she walk? Because of our information, our experience, we understand how to ask them, say, okay, she can walk. How many steps that she can walk without oxygen or without sitting down or without what? Oh, the doctor said, 10 to 15 steps. Okay, you have better understanding now. So the daughter immediately say, no, 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 cannot. Because my mom did tell me many, many times that don't put me through this. If I live, I want to live, have a quality life, not something like that. I like to be on my own if I still not, but not like that. 15 steps that I have to sit down. So how could you live? So the daughter, because the daughter understands, so she tells the doctor, no, we cannot have that. Okay. So the doctor says, so are we pulling the tubes now? Wow. Another question. She has to think. When she asked, when we pull the tube, how long my mom will survive? In my palliative visitation and understanding, when people pull the tube, sometimes they can live for another hour to do for some couple minutes, or some just go very quickly. Okay, doctor cannot tell. Nobody can tell you that, right? So the doctor say, well, it's a matter of fact of what I said. Then she think about it. And then later she went back and say, okay, my husband's here now with the two children. They drove, and we went to see grandma. Okay, the kids. Um, now we're ready. Okay, all right. So the doctor says 7 p.m. I remember very clearly that day. 7 p.m. we'll come back and we'll do the procedure. Okay, all right then. So 7 o'clock, we all go to the room, and then the nurse comes in and then pull. Once she pull, they immediately yell, "Don't!" It's hard. It's very hard. So don't put your children and your family through this if it's not necessary. Put it down. Put it down very carefully and put it down very clearly. That what you want and what you don't want. Okay? It will help them. All right. So, power of attorney. What type of power they can have? We're talking about money. How about that? We talk money. Unless you restrict their power, basically, if you don't say anything, basically, they can be able to take care of all your finance matters. If you don't tell, if you don't write it down, certain amount or a certain amount you can take at one time, or a certain account that you can take care of, or certain properties that you can do whatever thing you do. If you don't do that, basically, they can walk in with the power of attorney in their hand, and then they can do anything that they want. They can even sell your house. They can even sell your cottage. They can even do anything they want. Okay? Because by law, I saw one before. I mean, not one, but I mean, one is like particular. I remember that. They came in, they want to sell their mom's cemetery. And then I said, mom is alive? Yes, mom is alive. Okay, good. Mom can talk? Mom can talk? Oh, yeah, no, mom cannot. Okay, good. Have a POA? Oh yeah, have POA. Perfect. Okay. Let me see the POA. Okay. The POA say, I such and such. That was a Japanese woman. I such and such appoint my daughter such and such and her husband da 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 to be my POA for both medical and property, effective as of today. And that was like, when I look at it that day, that was roughly 8 years ago or something like that. I cannot say a thing. It's no restriction. They can do whatever they want. So they did what they want to do. I cannot help this older woman like the way that I can help the other one which have or restrictions on it. Unless you restrict your attorney's power, your attorney can sign documents, okay, sell properties, make investment, purchase things for you using your money. Okay, so POA is good for medical care, whatever, you have to write it down, but restrictions, restrictions, restrictions. Okay. All right. Now, today, I'm giving you 3 sections. They are all like overview and a bit, I would say. But maybe I still cannot address all of your questions. If your questions is more like particular and more personal, I rather you not ask in this forum. I rather you to email us and book a one-on-one consultations. You're my members, so I usually give my members 30 minutes uh, consultation. Even though some of you maybe you already use your 30 minutes for something else, but you always can call in and we'll discuss that. Okay, maybe we'll discuss how we can help you. For whoever never used that 30 minutes, then I will urge you to use it smartly and ask questions which is very essential and important to you and your family. Okay, so now we are in the Q&A. If anybody can tell me whether we have some questions coming up in the last half an hour or so. Do we have questions? Oh, no questions for now. Okay, good, good. Maybe I cover a lot more than I did think. Okay, good. All right, so if there's no question, I'm not going to hold everybody here because it's a weekend. It's a beautiful day outside, so you can go out and walk your dog or on yourself to enjoy the sunshine. Okay, so as I said, if you want to ask more, any more questions, you contact us. Okay, you just book one-on-one consultation meetings. Okay, you either call in our main line 905-474-2220, or you can email to my assistant, and she's using info@silvergreen.ca, and then we can arrange a consultation time with you. Or if you do have specific questions, then you can also put on your email. Okay, and then maybe some of them I just need to email you back, and it's simple. Unless I think that no, I need to know more before I say that, then I will suggest a consultation meeting too. Okay, so it's up to you, and I guess I have to say goodbye. And once again, thank you so much for getting on this platform, um, and also we have a handouts, which is our membership application. If you're not yet Silver Green Education members, I urge you to fill it in and send it back to us. And then all our education webinar, you will receive the invitation link. You can register like the way that you did today. and then you can enjoy a lot of talks that I will feature only professionals. I will fish among them. We sometimes we talk about like technology, high tech. Sometimes we talk about hobbies and enjoyment. But they are all like experts person to come in to share their knowledge and and then passion with my members. And so again, thank you, and you have a blessed day, safe, healthy, social distancing, and take good care of yourself while you're taking care of the one that you love. Okay, goodbye.